Okay, today we're going to be working on converting customary units. We worked all this week on understanding what each one represents, like ounces and gallons. These are all the customary ones. Pounds, we talked about weight yesterday, pounds and tons, but last week we talked about measuring, so inches and yards and feet and all of those things. So today we're going to work on converting them. Our I can statement is, I can use the I can read, guys. I can use the resources to convert customary units. So first we need to understand what the word converting means. Converting means to change from one form to another. So in science, we talked about how ice, when you add heat to it, it melts and it changes then to the next state of matter, which is liquid. And from liquid, it can, if we add more heat to it, it will evaporate. That's kind of converting the ice through all three states of matter. Well, today we're going to do some conversions, but we're going to use our math resources to do this. So I want you to write this in your notebook. The more we write it, the more it's in our head that in 1 foot, so we're going to do length first. In 1 foot, it's going to have 12 inches. 1 foot is 12 inches. Bigger than that, we have 1 yard is 3 feet. Bigger than that, we have 1 mile is 1,700 yards. 760 yards, or 5,280 feet. I want you to take the time and write all of these lengths down. I'll give you some time. Yep, I'm giving you time, so go ahead and write them. Have you written all the links down? The links are going to be the measurements if we're using a ruler of some sort. We might use a yardstick, or we might use a car. When we drive our car, it tells us how far we've gone. Length is a measurement of how far something is. So let's move on over here to capacity. Hopefully you have all those written down. If you don't, go ahead and stop and get them written down. Here's capacity. For capacity, we did our big G, and then we had our Q's inside. Ooh, and those are going to be way too small. We had 4 Q's. We had the P's inside of there. We had 2 pints for each quart, and inside those we had 2 cups. Those are going to be real small, and I'm not going to be able to write them in there, but you have that in your notebook. So we're going to start with 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. 1 quart equals 2 pints. 1 pint equals 2 cups, and 1 cup is 8 fluid ounces. Go ahead and take the time and write that down. You are going to use all of these today on your math assignment, so you need to make sure that these are written in your notebook. You could also reference them in your math book. Your hardcover math book would work. The next one you're going to write down is weight. 1 ton equals 2,000 pounds. 1 pound is 16 ounces, kind of like a pound of hamburger is 16 ounces. So let's say that we have something that is 5 pounds, and we want to know how many ounces is that going to be. So the first thing that we do is we go back to our chart, or our tables that we just wrote. From here we have to figure out, what are we dealing with? We have to look for something that has both a pounds in it and an ounces. So we look in our length, and I see foot, inches, yard, feet, no pounds and ounces. Here I see gallons, quarts, pints, cups. Here I see fluid ounces, but I need something that has pounds and something that has ounces. So I move all the way down here, and I see, oh, here's 1 pound is 16 ounces. So I'm going to use that, and I'm going to write it right underneath. but I'm going to make sure that my pounds end up underneath my pounds and my ounces end up underneath my ounces. Oops, didn't mean to draw that. So from here, I think, okay, from 1 to 16, the number itself, did it get bigger or smaller? It got bigger. 1 went to 16, so it got bigger. Because it got bigger, I'm going to times. Well, if I times by 1, I'm just going to get the same exact answer. So I'm going to times by the numbers that matter. I'm going to take 16 times 5. I'm not going to know that off the top of my head, so write it out to the side here. And my answer is 80 ounces. Key points to this. You have to make sure you have the right labels underneath the right sides of your equation. Remember, I can flip-flop these because as long as it's an equal in between, they would work. Let's try another one. Okay, here's another one to try. In this one, I have 20 quarts equals how many gallons? So in this one, I'm going to look at that chart. Here it is, right there. And I want something that has both quarts and gallons in there. So looking at length, I'm not going to find any quarts or gallons. Quarts and gallons are capacity, so I'm going to come over here. Check it, capacity. I have gallons and quarts. Okay, so it says that 1 gallon is 4 quarts. If I write it like this, which is how I have it on my paper here, it's not going to work because I have quarts here and gallons here. And when I think, oh, I go 1 to 4, oh, I get bigger after times, it won't work because this has to be the same. It has to be the same label. So I'm going to flip-flop this, and I'm going to put 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. Now they're lined up. Now I think, when I go from 4 to 1, the number itself, did it get bigger or smaller? A 4 changes to a 1. It got smaller. So with math, I'm going to have to divide. If it gets smaller, I'm going to divide. So I have 20 divided by 4. (20) divided by 4. Knowing our times table, we know that divides out to 5. So 20 quarts is 5 gallons. Let's try a tough one. For this one, we have 2 miles equals how many feet? We want to change those miles to feet. I grab my chart. Boom. I have to look for one that has both miles and feet. So we look, feet, inches, yards, feet, miles, feet. Okay. So then I make sure that miles is under miles and feet is under feet. And then I look, okay, from 1 to 5,000, did it get bigger or smaller? It got bigger, so we're going to times. And if I times by 1, it's not going to matter. So I'm going to times by the numbers that matter. 2 times this. Because in 1, there's 5,280. I want to know how many there is in 2. So this math, it's going to be and we want to make sure we label that. It'll drop in that blank. Okay, let's try this story problem. Ramona drives a truck weighing 1 ton. Oh, not Tom, that's weird. Ton. And she picks up 3 cows, and each cow, altogether the cows weigh 3,000 pounds. How much does the truck plus the cows weigh? So if I were to add these together, 1 plus that would be 3,001 pounds, correct? No way, I cannot add them because this is a ton and this is a pound and they mean different things. So this will not be 3,000 pounds, 3,001 pounds. I have to know how many pounds are in a ton. So I grab my chart. Boom. This is weight, so I want to look at the weight category. 1 ton is 2,000 pounds, so I'm going to convert. That 1 ton is 2,000 pounds. So instead of having 1 ton, I'm going to say that 1 ton is the same thing as 2,000 pounds. So now I have the truck plus the cows. Don't forget to label it. So the truck and the cows together are going to be 5,000 pounds. All right, so this takes some work. You have to be able to use that chart every single time. That's why I said I wanted you to write it down. Your secret number so far, we've had a few different clues. I told you yesterday, or the last time, that it was greater than half of 100,000. Today I will tell you that the number in the tens spot, is even. So your assignment is over in Schoology. You'll grab it off of there. I do have paper copies in the box. Please don't ask me because you just heard me say it. There's some paper copies in the box. If you need to grab one of those, you are going to have to do some math on this, so make sure that you keep your chart close at hand. So, as always, happy mathing.